Hello, everyone. Yes, it's me. Another great day yesterday. Yes. The house is full of people still. Uh, Today is a big day for us, so prayers are appreciated. Um, my daughter here has to go and get her shoulder operated on, uh, so surgery day today. Yes. Anyway, prayers are appreciated for that everything goes well. Yeah. Okay. Let's get going right away because I gotta get over there and see what's going on. And yeah, I got a little sidetracked this morning. I get so into it sometimes with these reels on Facebook. Uh, and I just enjoy, especially the ones with the animals or the children, and I'm kind of getting good at spotting the ones that are just fake and AI generated and all that jazz. So I'll just scroll past it. So be it, right? Yes, I can do that. Right? That's my freedom of choice right there. I saw one though, I couldn't help but go in and tell my friend. So there's a post going around that they found a 5,000-year-old book in the Gulf of Mexico in the water. Okay, I'm sorry, that ain't happening. There's no paper, no anyway paper or wood. Yeah, but the book it looked like it was made of paper. Okay, which at that time, 5,000 years ago, what did they actually use to write things? Okay, all right, I'm just saying. And I went in and I said, "There's no way that any paper will survive for 5,000 years in the water. Done, done, done. Don't even. No." It gets soaked and paper will turn to mush. Done. And so I thought, I'll just go and check it out anyway. And so, okay, is this true or false? And it's fake. It's a fake story from 2023. Somebody started. And I remember that was a year where people came out with all kinds of things: fairies, giants, uh, chariots from way back in Egypt and in the Red Sea. And you know what? Anyone who believes this kind of stuff serious and then posts it, don't people realize how foolish they look? I mean, I could see, you know what? I bet you that in countries where people have very little education when it comes to, schooling, they would know that. And you know how they would know that? Due to experience with materials and this and that. I just, no, no. I said foolish. And when it comes from people in countries like this one or other, more advanced, civilized, though who knows, really, truly, are they more civilized countries? That kind of stuff comes out. You know what? Ugh. Oh, no. Anyway, so many people are being had again with that, mainly because you don't know anything. Anyway, ugh, just saying. I couldn't help but go in and say, yeah, there's no way that paper will survive in the water for 5,000 years. Ain't nothing. Okay? And even then, it's not going to happen. Okay? It will not happen. And even if it's in a box or something. And what did they have during that time? Oh, I don't know. Could it have been in a gold box? Well, that doesn't say. But anyway, the story turns out to be fake. It isn't a true story. Done. Boom. Anywho. So let's get going here. Isaiah, the fall of Babylon. We're in the book of Isaiah 46. Bel is crouching, Nabal cowering. Their idols are being put on animals, on beasts of burden. The loads you have been carrying are a burden to a very beast, are a burden to a very beast. They are cowering and crouching together. No one can save this burden. They themselves have gone into captivity. Listen to me, house of Jacob, all who remain, the house of Israel, whom I have carried since the womb, whom I have supported since you were conceived. Until your old age I shall be the same. Until your hair is gray I shall carry you. As I have done, so I shall support you. I myself shall carry and shall save you. With whom can you compare me, equate me? To whom can you liken me? Making equals of us, they lavish gold from their purses and weigh out silver on the scales. So, number one, they lavish gold from their purses and weigh out silver on the scales. The Israelites have done that as well. Done. Okay? In many different, go back and read through the Book of Kings and the Book and the Chronicles, and you will find the same thing happening. But one thing that kind of came to me while I was reading this upper part here. Until your old age I shall be the same. Until your hair is gray I shall carry you. As I have done, so I shall support you. I myself shall carry and shall save you. That to me is very beautiful in a way, and the way how I know our Heavenly Parent. As soon as you give up all this other stuff that seems to be so much more important in your life, and do turn your face towards our Heavenly Parent, let Him be there with you. Let the presence of our Heavenly Parent be in your life, your family, your tribe, your nation, all around the world. It will be there. We are making that choice. We are making that choice. And this is what we will be given, what we are being given. Yes, I do believe that. I have experienced that so many times in my life. If I have time, okay, well, we'll go into my teenage years a little. Oh, was that on there? They engage a goldsmith to make a god, then bow low and actually adore. They lift it on their shoulders and carry it and put it down where it is meant to stand, so that it never moves from the spot. You may cry out to it in distress. It never replies. It never saves anyone in trouble. I can tell that True Father read this Bible just about as I am read as I am reading it, because he has said some of the exact same things that I see here now in the Bible. So not he didn't quite figure that out on his own, but he gave it out there. Do you hear a lot about, for example, this part where one just says, "What can your God do? Anything?" Well, what can our God do, really, when it comes down to it? Anything? There has to be a foundation for our God to work. But when it comes to idols, what can they actually do? What are they doing? I studied a lot about ancient gods, or what people believed in, and it's to this day believe in when it comes to things like that. It's a scam you wouldn't believe. And it has been proven to be scams. And yet the people still believe. Which just proves to me that people need something to believe in. Yes? Oh, is it then not the same with our God as well? Again, that just depends how one needs God in their life. Uses God, abuses God. Yes? We're the ones who make the choice. And it goes right on. This is exactly what I heard True Father say. I've never read this passage in the Bible, so this is where he got it from. It never saves anyone in trouble. Remember this and stand firm. Rebels, look into your hearts. Remember the things that happened long ago. For I am God, there is no other. I am God, and there is none like me. From the beginning I revealed the future, in advance what has not yet occurred. I say, my purpose will come about. I shall do whatever I please. I call a bird of prey from the east, my man predestined from a distant land. What I have said, I shall do. What I have planned, I shall perform. Listen to me, you hard hearted people, far removed from saving justice. I am bringing my justice nearer. It is not far away. My salvation will not delay. I shall place my salvation in Zion and my glory in Israel. And that's the end of 46. When uh, when I was 7, when I was 7, my mom finally decided that it was time to separate from my dad. I think that's the best decision my mom has ever made in her life. When it comes also to when it comes to her safety, when it comes to the peace of mind of us children, though again, I can't say my dad was never mean to me or anything like that, and neither was he to my brother and sister. My dad was just very misguided in many other things. And we'll leave it at that. So, my mom, when I was 7, decided to separate from my dad. And we moved to a place about 2 towns removed, pretty much into not the mountains per se, but kind of just below a mountain, which then also the forest behind it kind of became my home as well, where I wandered and this and that. And I remember moving, I remember this day so well. We moved into this apartment. The most amazing people uh, were our landlords there. They lived above us. And my mom was able to afford, yes, to move there. I know that our heavenly parent prepared that apartment for my mom and us. I know that um, my mom did the absolute right thing, and it showed in every which way on how then we ended up in that apartment and our life. And here's the thing: I know that many children out there, again, our father did not abuse us. Okay, um, we saw some things, or I saw some things maybe as a child that one shouldn't see. But again, it didn't quite register for me. What that's a horrible thing. And when we finally moved away from our dad, I was very happy. Um, and I think the reason for it was is because the my surroundings became quieter. As I said, I was so sensitive towards emotions, this and that the stress of that in the household was there. I didn't know why, but it was there. And when we moved into this apartment away from my dad, I had absolutely no problem. I was happy. I was happy that my dad was not there anymore. That's odd, but and then lived there for we lived there for I lived there for 7 years with our mom. We lived there for longer than that, but 7 years we were uh, just there with our mom, and I loved it. Loved. Those were the absolute best years of my life as a child, from 7 to 14. Loved it. My life was like living in paradise. Um, I'm not going to get into the rest of it because again, it didn't have anything to do with me. I was always kind of where my brother and sister, they were always hanging together and playing and going together, to the playground or to play soccer or basketball, whatever they played, over by the college. I seldom went. If I would go, I would be doing something by myself again. That's just how I was. I loved being on my own. I had friends, not really, not friends like other people have. I didn't want them because I had books to read. And friends, if you took them home, you had to entertain them, and I didn't want to do that. And when you went to a friend's home, then I don't know. I guess you had to do what they wanted to do, and I kind of didn't want to do that either. It's not that I didn't enjoy my time going to a friend's house, which there was one just a little farther up the hill that I went to a couple of times, I think. Um, I went to another friend, a couple other friends as well. I had friends, homes. I'd rather went to their home than take them home with me, not because there was something wrong with my home. It was when I was home, I wanted to do absolutely what I wanted to do. I didn't want to entertain anyone. I just didn't want to do that. Also, we didn't really have a bunch of toys or this or that to entertain with. That just wasn't. I don't remember toys, but I didn't need toys. I didn't want toys. I had my books. I loved books. I loved to read. And I loved going out for walks. Yeah, again, by myself, collecting things. I loved crafts. And again, I wanted to do that on my own. And while I was doing all these things, crafts, my mind was always going, 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 going. Um, there was one a little bit sad. Okay, sad. Again, I realized later on in life that that was just on how God guided my life. And that, again, it didn't really, once the dream was over, it was just over. And that was that for me. I was 13. I did very, very well in school and was nominated by all the teachers to get the scholarship, the one scholarship awarded to a student that was kind of in a lower class, lower income class. But you had to be a good student. You had to be a bit above just a good student. I was nominated for that one scholarship to go to the university, the one university that we had there in our region. As a girl, you could only go there if you lived close enough to stay at home. You couldn't be in the dorms. It wasn't all boys per se. You could go as a girl, but you couldn't live there like the other boys did, or like the other students did. I was 13. My mom had worked, and to just make sure we stayed above water. And we had an interview. The odd thing is all I was given was a letter of recommendation for the scholarship. I already had the scholarship, and we had to go and meet the director of that university. Uh, my mom was kind of said. She said, "What? You're 13?" Yeah. Uh, so I would have entered college or the university at the age of 14, the next school year. I would have not had to finish up the year two that was still coming. I could have gone straight to university. We went, sat down. Oddly, none of the teacher that recommended or nominated me um, came with us. We just went. I was 13. How was I prepared for anything like that? I was happy. I was very excited because my dream was always, I wasn't one of those kids that didn't know what they wanted to be. I always wanted to be either a pediatrician or a veterinarian. That was my dream. And in Switzerland, when you come from a household, a low income household like mine, you're not going to college. You're not going to university. You just don't. Unless this golden egg falls into your lap somehow. And I held this golden egg for about a day and a half. uh, I said, since I had my nose always in a book, I heard very little on what the people said about anyone, including myself. We went there. The director scared my mom into this. Yes, she has the scholarship, but you still have to come up twice a year for the books that she will need, and they will run about $1,000. My mom just gave me this look, and and I said, well, okay. I mean, I didn't know what that meant really when it came down to it. Uh, or I said there was so little explained to us. All I remember is sitting there in this amazing office that just, wow, it looked all like, just the furniture all looked so pristine, all in wood, just beautiful, kind of like out of a Hogwarts. Harry Potter Hogwarts movie. We left. I went home. My mom sat me down. She says, that I can't. There's no way I wouldn't know how to come up with that kind of money. That kind of money. Right? $2,000 a year. My mom couldn't do it. Yeah, you would think in Switzerland with the banking system, this and that. My mom just didn't know enough about it. She didn't know where to turn. She didn't know who to ask. So I gave up the scholarship. Nope, there wasn't anybody next in line. If I didn't get the scholarship, then the university could give it to someone who could pay the full amount. Another more and dad, rich family who had a son. Yes. We, about 10 years later, I already lived here in the United States. My mom brought it up again. She said, that guy lied to us. Your scholarship, I found out much later, was everything was included. There was no financial responsibility attached to us. And another sad thing, in a way, was that the person who told her that was the director of the teachers' college, which was in another town, but they knew each other, and guess got to talking, and he found out that I had gotten the scholarship, and he was like, oh my gosh, your daughter must be very, very smart. There is no way she would have gotten that scholarship otherwise. And he said, I wish I would have known about it because we would have taken her with a hand kiss. Supposedly, I was a bit the talk of the town due to the fact on how smart I was. Wow, R&I, right? Yes? Well, anyway, it wasn't meant to be. I think that in order for me to meet true parents, God needed to remove me from the position that I was in or could have been in and where I would have gone with that. And yeah, I absolutely 100% believe that I was guided by Spirit World, by my Heavenly Parent, even by Jesus, um, in how things went after that. Yes. Uh, I'll have to tell you more about that later. Did I ever regret or that? Nope, not at all. As I said, though I was a little disappointed that I couldn't. Um, my dream was kind of over. This and that. It was okay. I was never a person that kind of hankered after something that is already past. I was always someone that was very positive, even as a child, and always looked into the future. Yes, that's just me. And as I said, when my parents divorced, I didn't care. I was happy. I was happy for my mom, number one. And um, there was, if I would have had to choose, my mom would always come first. My dad had no, his stick was so short that, yeah, didn't care. Was very happy, happy for mom. Best time of my life. And as a child, due to the fact I could do whatever I wanted. I was a very good child. I really didn't really get into trouble very much. Again, didn't want to get into trouble because I didn't want to cause my mom more grief. My brother and my sister did enough of that. I was like the good son in Prodigal Son. Yes. And and really, yeah, lived kind of beside our family, not with my family, which was perfectly fine with me. No problem there. And I think that sometimes people should be honest with themselves and look into their childhood and say, yeah, um, I'm not sure why I'm complaining. Maybe I'm complaining because everybody else is complaining, has these horror stories about their childhood, and I need to add to that. I want to be a part of that. Why? Why do you want to be a part of that? Look at the whole situation in your family. I'm not saying everyone. I know that some children suffer greatly under their parents, but most of us don't. Most of us have a great childhood. And a few things that may not go so right, well, so be it. Eh? That should not dictate the rest of a person's life. Just saying. Eh? Yeah. All right, that's all I have to share today. Yes, okay. May Heavenly Parent bless, protect you, guide you, embrace you with love. Eldridge, my dearest brother in faith, I love you. Let's keep praying. Yes, and I will talk to you all another time.